Hello everyone. Today I'm talking with Claudio Santori Spadini. Did I pronounce it correctly?
But you can cut the Spadini because I'm not Spadini.
Claudio Santori.
Yes.
Okay. So Claudio is a friend of mine. He's of course from Italy, as you might guess from the name, and he's a really interesting guy. He did a lot of projects here in Lithuania, and not so long ago he started doing his own startup. And we will talk about the startup in a bit. Also, he's a Lindy hopper and a paleo diet god.
Thank you.
So, Claudio, can you tell some more about yourself, where you come from, how did you end up in Lithuania?
Okay.
Some background.
So let's make it short story. So I'm from Italy, and I used to live in Rome, where I graduated in economics. And at some point of my life, I started to travel, and that's when I moved to Finland. And in there I lived 6 years. I brought with me my job. I was doing website. I was making some web marketing for Italian clients. So when I moved to Finland, basically I brought my job with me, and in there I found Lindy Hop. I started to dance the swing dance in Finland, and during a dance camp in Sweden, that's where I found a girl that convinced me to move to Lithuania, and that's where I moved 2 years ago. It's the reason I moved. It's a girl, and now I've been living here 2 years. I've been dancing, and I brought with me again my job, this web marketing job, and then last year, lucky or not, I got this idea of changing the world with Bliu Bliu, and that's what we have been working for 1 year.
Have you worked on any other projects? Have you tried doing something of your own idea before?
No, before I had my own website where I was basically selling ebooks. I wrote a couple of ebooks about how to find a job, how to write a CV, how to optimize all this planning of finding a job. And this was a sort of a little startup I had before even knowing what a startup was. And the project was successful. I mean, I got millions of visitors. I got every day 5,000 people coming and downloading the book and telling me how these advices were somehow like good for them and how they found a job after reading it. And so this was maybe the biggest project I had before Bliu Bliu.
So, for those who haven't heard, what is Bliu Bliu about, briefly?
So Bliu Bliu is a new way of learning languages. The way we want to do it is without the grammar, without the flashcards. It's a new, different approach. So the moment you join our website, we give you a tutorial where we show random text from the internet. And all you have to do is click on the words you don't know, and the system will adapt, so the next you will see a text that contain less unknown word until we refine it and we are able to give you like text in the language you're studying that you basically understand most of the words. And then more than text, we can give you also video or music. And the way you're learning now, it's by being exposed to the language you're learning by watching content, real content from the internet in the language you're learning.
And as you mentioned, during the HubCamp event, which was 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago,
yeah,
that you weren't actually involved in the startup business and you didn't know much about it, even during the phase when you did the ebooks.
Yeah, I had no idea even what the word startup was.
How did this begin? How did you get involved?
So when I had this idea of Bliu Bliu, I realized it was a project that it was bigger than me. Like I couldn't do it by myself. So somehow I started to post it online, to ask for advices, to ask for help. And one Italian guy has been very crucial, like Valerio Genovese. He lives in Vilnius, and he works for Startup Highway. And at the time, it didn't work for them. It just, he started to mentoring me basically and telling me what I was involved in. That I had a startup, that I had to find funding and developers, and that I couldn't do it by myself or by knocking the door in the bank and asking for money. So that's where I started to start to hearing they were like startup. Okay, what is a startup? So I bought some book and read about it.
And what about your? Would you even try to do the project of this big without the help of that Italian friend?
Well, I wasn't. Let's say, in the beginning, I found a friend that was helping me with the technical side, and what I was doing was like knocking the door of the bank and checking, can I get like 20,000 euro? Asking my family, asking around, and but soon what it was clear is that the future was go and pitch this idea to investor. Ask for money, and that's the only way you can make it happen, because when you have the money, then you can comfortably like sit down, have a team, and start building it, instead of worrying about like you need to give the money back to the bank.
So how big is the team right now? How many people?
Now we're 5. We are 2 business developers and 3 developers like coding the system. And plus 1 linguist that it's not in the team full time, but we're like bringing him in. And we just moved to this office in Vilnius center, and basically we work every day now from early morning to late night at Bliu Bliu.
Do you have some fear that the project might not actually work? As during the hub camp, you also said that most of the startups are making shit.
Well, I didn't say that. Someone before me said that. I just quoted him for a joke. But
well, it's kind of true, because some of the projects actually are not solving any real problems, but.
Yeah, what I've seen around is that a lot of people, they do have a problem. They think it's a global problem, and they want to make a startup out of it. But they haven't asked anybody else. Do you have this problem? What I realized with Bliu Bliu is that this really solved the problem of many people. And now after 1 year, we have been discussing a lot with our potential customer. And as we are online, we are actually like talking with our real customer now, and we are solving a problem. There are people willing to pay for it, and we just don't know how big we're gonna be. But hopefully, we're gonna be, number 1 in the world. That's the plan. We're working on this. So for now, let's say, I don't have a fear and it's not gonna work. Now I believe it's gonna work. Then you never know. Life, it's mysterious.
Actually, Claudio once pitched me the idea just at the beginning of, was it Startup Weekend? You went to the dance party that night, and you actually told me, it was the first time I heard about Bliu Bliu, and once you explained it to me, I thought, holy shit, this is going to work, and this is actually, well, a good idea, and it can be very profitable.
Yeah, that's now from the idea to the actual product. We do have a product. It works. It's really nice. We're refining it every day. That's what we're working on now, to really make it like as good as the idea in the paper, like to make it really good.
Okay, we've talked some about Bliu Bliu and what is your current situation about the project, and how well it is doing right now. What are your plans for the future? Maybe some additional parts of the project which would come up. You have some new ideas or anything you would like to share?
Yeah, at the moment, the system as it is now, it works very well if you're an intermediate student wanting to be to become more fluent, more advanced. So what we are working on, of course, to make this even better, but also to move the bar a little bit lower. So if you're also a beginner, you could start using the system, and if you're a total beginner, you wouldn't have any problem. And this is coming maybe in the next 2-3 months. So what's happening now, we're building another month. In a month, it's still not confirmed, but it seems that we got in the Finnish accelerator sauna, startup sauna. So we're gonna go there for, if they confirm it, we're gonna go there for a month. And they're gonna do work on us, like night and day, basically on mentoring and helping us to really get this done, how to make it efficient, to build the product efficiently, to make it scalable, and to make it work. And at the same time, we're going next week to Login, where there is a pitch competition, and we are one of the 20 selected startup, and we're planning to win. Not just another cup, as you might see on the background, but like the prize, it's the roadmap. We're gonna go to, if we win, to London, Stockholm, and Silicon Valley. So we kind of want to go to Silicon Valley to talk with some guys over there, investors and possible partners. So this is in the near future, visiting Silicon Valley and see what they have to offer to us, or what do we have to offer to them.
But more, what would they offer to you?
I don't know yet. I don't know.
Bliu Bliu is awesome.
Yeah, Bliu Bliu is awesome. Now, 2 weeks ago, we got. I need to ask, what was the newspaper, the Japanese newspaper, Donato?
I can give you the business card.
Yeah, we got interviewed by a Japanese newspaper. They have 11 million readers, and they came to this office to interview our crew.
11 million printed copies every day.
Printed copy every day, and the newspaper is the Ashami Shimbun. Probably, I'm not fluent yet in Japanese, but and yes, so this is what's happening. I mean, we got like every day we got an interview. Yesterday we got an interview with a Lithuanian newspaper, and everybody wants to talk with us at this moment, and it's a very good moment. It's a very good moment. It's the website is growing, the customers are happy, and we're delivering more features. What to say? I couldn't be happier. Unless we will make €1 million, then I would be happier. But
you can always become slightly more happy.
Yes, yes.
Okay, it's quite enough about Bliu Bliu. I'm sure we'll hear some more about the whole project and its future someday soon. I will go to Login as well, and we'll see how Bliu Bliu will actually perform, or you will perform. Going to the questions more general questions. Once we talked and you mentioned your interest in sales, and you said you will grab a lot of sales books and you will read them all and become a pro. It probably happened to the starter books as well at some point.
Yeah.
Could you recommend some books for a fresh startup guy or startup girl, which you think are the best books of this topic?
Definitely. Because for me, books, they have been very important. Like what you have with a book, you basically have a limited amount of time with a mentor. And for me, maybe the 3 best books I've read about startup, they are, and then we will check the author because I'm not sure about that, but like the Lean Startup, and this should be like the main guy, like the Lean Startup. The second one would be Rework, and the third one would be Venture Deals. So the Lean Startup, it's a very general, it's a must read. I mean, it's very easy to read, it's one day, and it tells what it is a startup, why it's different, and what's the common mistakes, why to avoid them. Rework, to me, was more practical. What Rework says, okay, you have the metrics, you have the computer, you have to the MVP, the product, but just you need to go out as soon as possible. So where are your customers? Find them, show them what you have, and see if they like it, because if they don't, you don't have a product. So this is what rework has been telling me. Venture deals, it's more about the financial aspect, more about the contracts, more about the business side of the startup. But it's something, if you want to have a business, you need to know about it. And I thought it was more complicated because of the name, because of someone that told me to read it. But actually, it's a very easy read, and it will give you like all the business information you need for knowing how to fundraise your startup, and really about the contract and the lawyers, who are the players, what to expect for mentors. All very useful thing for me that, you know, I didn't know any of this, and it gave me a map where to move.
Any books you are planning to read right now?
Yeah, I have one book that has been on the, I can't say shelf, let's say on the Kindle for a long time now,
waiting
and it's
for its turn.
Yeah, it's been. I've been busy with Bliu Bliu, honestly. I usually read quite much, and it's Founders at Work. So it's basically the short biography of all these famous startup founders, and they are supposed to talk about the struggle they had and what it was successful for them. But I haven't read it, so I'm not. It has been recommended to me by many people, and it's on the list.
So one of the last questions, and it actually suits the whole idea of what I'm doing these interviews, is to offer some advice for people who actually want to get involved in business, but for example fear failure, or are not self-confident enough, or whatever. If you met such a person, what advice would you give him?
Yeah, but failure, what it's important to understand, it's that you must fail to succeed. I mean, Bliu Bliu, to arrive where we are today, that we have a product, we have a team, we're opening the company, and it went through a stage of failures. The first time I went to a conference at Silicon Valley comes to Baltic, I went there hoping to pitch, and they had actually rejected our pitch deck, we were not good enough. It was the first time I tried, and I didn't know anything about slides, I didn't know anything about conferences, and I go there and they tell me look, we didn't pick you. What do? You cry? And what I did was whatever. They didn't understand me. I'm still good. And I started to network. So very important thing to do. Go to conferences and talk with people. People you don't know. Absolutely. Talk with people you don't know about your idea, about their idea. Listen and get feedback. It's very important, because when you have an idea and you talk about your idea with someone else, they might like it, they might not like it. People that they don't like it, they're the people you want to talk with, because these are the people that will help you to shape your vision better. Because if you find someone that is very critical about your idea, maybe there is something about your idea that is not so, revolutionary yet. You need to work on it a little bit. And as soon as you go out to this event, the other advice I would like to give you is find a team. Find someone else, involve other people into your project, because the more you are, the more eyes you have on the project, the better it is. Sometimes we fall in love with our ideas, and we get lost a little bit in this love. You need to keep focus on, why you're building this and what problem are you solving. And mentors, they're really important. When you find someone that you think it's better than you, that you think, oh, I would like to be like this person, go and talk with them. Go and talk with them, ask for their business card, ask for 20 minutes, 5 minutes, go to lunch with them, spend some time with them. They would love to. They've been successful, and now they want to share it. If they don't want, find another one. And but definitely find someone that you think I want to be like this guy and learn from him a little bit. Just 5, 10, 20 minutes, whatever. It's just mentors, really important, really, really important. I think that, and read a lot of books. That's just, because they're written by mentors. And if you read a book, you can skip the part you don't like, and you can learn pretty much. And then you can go and talk with a mentor.
Would you like to mentor yourself someday?
I've been mentoring a little bit already. I've been, some people came to me telling that they got inspired by my talk and everything, and I've been doing a little bit of mentoring, especially on slides, where it seems that, like in presentation, where it seems that I am very good at. I got people like coming, asking to me, of course, I mean, if you want to know anything about startup, please drop an email and or come to our office, and I would love to share with you whatever I know and whatever might be valuable for you.
Slides were one of the things I took from a workshop I did in December last year. When I usually, during studies, I didn't actually work on slides as much. I would simply do a draft and use it for
and
the
that was
presentation, and it's completely enough.
Yeah.
But when you do presentations for groups that are actually listening and want to understand the project, your product or your service, usually you have to work a lot on the slides.
Yeah, for the conference we won in Riga, we won Tech Chill. It was a 3 minutes presentation. You're 3 minutes on the stage, and there you go. So, these 3 minutes, I work on the slides for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Every single slide was like, is this the right word I'm using? Does this tell what I want to tell? Is this confusing? Will people like understand something else? And then the next slide. And then I sent the slide to people that didn't know what I wanted to say on the slide and asked them, would you understand what's the message behind it? And so it's been a really, really heavy work on this, like basically like 12 slides, 2 weeks to make 12 slides, and no more than 30 words total probably. And that's because when they're there behind you, first you need to know them, you need to know your slides, and then they shouldn't be confusing. You're the show, they're just a pretty background with one word or one picture, just to explain better what you're telling the audience. But don't put more than 3 words on any slide. 1, 2, 3 words maximum. That's what you can put on your slide. Make another slide if you want to go for words.
And I'm quite sure those who might listen to the video and will come to log in will check whether you actually do those slides the same way you just said.
Yeah.
And we'll probably just see how well you perform before Wozniak comes to the stage. As you said, you will warm him up.
That's a totally new speech, by the way. They asked me to make they have an educational hour where they talk about all the startup about education, and we will talk about how Bliu Bliu wants to disrupt the language learning educational market. And that presentation hasn't been done ever, and we still have to make the slides, and we're working on it. But the pitching contest, I think it's the day before. So the pitching, it's on Thursday, and
So
the Wozniak is like on Friday. Yeah, so we have 2 presentations at login.
Okay, so unless you have some other things you would like to share, some untold things or thoughts, or maybe something you still would like to talk about, but I haven't asked.
What would I like to say that I haven't said? Well, I tend to talk too much, so probably if I don't talk, it's good.
If something not usable comes out, and something you don't want to actually come outside this room, you might actually not use it. But still.
Now, one thing, if someone has a question, not about Bliu Bliu, about, or about Bliu Bliu, or about startup, or about anything, they can drop me a line, like info@bliubliu.com. It's BLIUBLIU.com. That's where they can find me.
How did the name come out?
How did the name come out? So, the name came out, I came out with the name first, and I didn't want to give it an English name. All these language websites, somehow they have an English name, the grammar something, or I didn't want it to be connected with a word. I wanted to invent something. And Bliu Bliu was something I was using when I was talking in Lithuanian, for example. I was talking like Aš italas ir kalbu Bliu Bliu kur einam. Nežinau, Bliu Bliu. So it's sort of like, when I didn't know what to say, go with Bliu Bliu, because you just need to sound confident. If you sound confident, people will think you kind of speak the language. If you go like, so Bliu Bliu is to replace like, it just go Bliu Bliu, and it will sound like any language you learn. So that's the story of the name.
So thank you, Claudia, for speaking today, and those who listen will probably try out your project sometime.
Yes, remember, we are an early stage startup, so not everything works, and if it doesn't work, you can still complain and send an email, but just keep it in mind that it's a beta version that's on top of the yes.
Yeah, and whether you want to learn Lithuanian or Italian or Russian or even English, you can try. There are many languages. How many languages?
We have 25 plus languages, even Japanese in there, and they're growing. So we're adding more, we're refining the algorithm, putting more content in there. So for the summer, we plan to have 50.
Okay. So thank you again, and ciao.
Bene, thank you, Vince. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, mamma.